Hello everybody, I'm Terry Robinson, Associate Editor at SC Magazine, and we're coming to you today from the RSA show in San Francisco. I have with me Craig Hinkley. He's the CEO of WhiteHat Security. Hi Craig, welcome.
G'day Terry, it's great to be here with you.
Web application vulnerabilities continue to underpin attack methods used by cybercriminals to breach wider infrastructures. What web application security approaches can best protect data and applications, especially in the cloud?
So maybe first let's talk about the size of the problems. I think it's important for folks to understand that data breaches represent $364 billion in the industry. I mean, it's massive, and the breaches are increasing. In 2013, of a survey, 62% of respondents said they had a data breach. In 2014, that went to 71%. We don't have 2015, Terry, but I can tell you it's certainly going to be larger than that. So when you think about it, this is a major problem. And when companies now are looking at their overall information security and cybersecurity programs, what they're realizing that 35% of their data breaches are coming from web applications. Yet only 3% of spending in IT is going towards web application security. So I mean, the first thing I think everyone can do can really look at where they're allocating the budget to go address a third of their data breach problems. And then really it's about how do you bring a continuous scanning technology to the table that allows customers to really understand where their vulnerabilities and risks are, and then how do they prioritize those to then, go mitigate those vulnerabilities and risks. And the challenge we have in the industry is that we're in a talent deficit. There's 1 million jobs open right now in cybersecurity.
So how can enterprises protect data access through web applications and safeguard them against incursions via the web? What about effectively identifying, assessing, and protecting their websites from direct attacks?
The first thing that a customer needs to do is detect. They need knowledge. So where am I vulnerable? Where am I going to be hacked? So part of that is in the past people have tried to use tools, but tools are costly, they're expensive, they have high false positive rates, so it really leads to companies not knowing where to focus. So part of that is then how do I get a detection mechanism, a knowledge information that combines tools and human expert intelligence that gives you actionable, credible intelligence to go kind of know where to focus. And then the next thing is, once you detect it, how do I then go protect my websites and web applications in near real time?
Over the last year in particular, there's been a lot of buzz around how security leaders should talk to the C-suite and board about security. Why do you think this has gotten so much attention in reality?
It's to a point now where the reliance of companies on their e-commerce, their digital business, I mean, everything is monetized through the web. Mm-hmm. So I think the importance is becoming so relevant to the boards because they understand if there's a breach, then they're not just dealing with the financial implications. Now it's the IP, it's the brand, and it has real monetary impact on the kind of financials of the company. But also the regulatory requirements have stepped up. As I mentioned before, the FTC in the US can now walk in and fine a company. And I was talking to the chief compliance officer of one of our major customers, and he was expressing this concern that while the FTC can fine you, they don't actually not put out any real guidelines around that. So I think part of it is the board is realizing that they have to be able to be accountable and responsible for the overall posture from a cybersecurity perspective, and they're going to be held accountable. And that's why when you look at a CISO today, they're really challenged with, I've talked about cross-site scripting, I've talked about SQL injection. Boards don't care about that. Boards care about what's the programs we're putting in place to address those risks and what's the KPIs we can use to show we're making progress. So that the CISO's really got to translate the technical aspects to real business outcomes and both business and operational risk. And that's what boards care about, and at the end of the day, a successful CISO has got to be able to pivot and provide the technical information for his technical audience and stakeholders, but now really the business and operational risk metrics towards the board, because a board doesn't want to be either fired or a CEO doesn't want to be fired because they got breached and then come behold they hadn't been doing the right things internally to address those issues from the outset.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for joining us today.
Terry, it was an honor and a pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.